أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today's thought of the week, in which we want to delve into some of the traditions, the statements of the Prophet Muhammad and his noble family, the Ahlul Bayt, may God's peace and blessings be upon all of them, relates to human interaction, how we deal with one another. Obviously, we know that in the world today, we have various levels of interaction with those around us. We have the way that we deal with, obviously, our family. We have the way that we deal with our co-workers in the workplace, maybe with our colleagues, our classmates at school. We have the ways that we deal with our neighbors, our community members, and obviously, ultimately, the way that we deal with our Creator, with God. And all of these are based upon, or rather we should say, the way that we deal with each and every one of these groups should be based upon the teachings of the Quran and the morality and ethics as have been taught to us by the Prophet of Islam and his immaculate successors. In today's tradition, we reflect on a saying from the sixth Imam, the sixth successor of the Prophet Muhammad, Ja'far ibn Muhammad al-Sadiq, may God's peace and blessings be upon him, in which he speaks to us at the level of how we deal with one another. And in this beautiful tradition, the sixth Imam says the following: Allah is not worshipped through anything better than fulfilling the right of the fellow believer. The sixth Imam shows us within this tradition that as believers we have a responsibility to our fellow believing brothers and sisters in Islam. And he shows us that the actual mission or the actual meaning of worship of Allah, the best way or the most perfect of ways of actually worship of Allah, is through ensuring that we fulfill the rights of our fellow believers. Now the topic itself is very vast. What is the right of a fellow believer? What are the rights that we have upon one another, and what are the rights that others within our tradition of Islam have upon us as believers? Suffice it to mention just one very brief tradition. When the sixth Imam was asked this question, that what are the rights, or enumerate the rights of a believer over another, he didn't go into the specifics, but he mentioned that a believer has 70 rights over another believer. Now obviously we would have to delve into other traditions from the sixth Imam specifically, and maybe other members of the infallible progeny, to understand and determine what these 60 or 70 rights are as mentioned within the tradition. But suffice it to mention that just when we look at this one specific statement for today's discussion, is that Allah, as the sixth Imam said, has not been worshipped with anything greater than fulfilling the rights of a fellow believer. And so if we want to be true servants of Allah, if we wish to truly traverse the path of servitude of the Creator, that means that we need to fulfill the rights of one another. And as we see even in the saying in English, that charity begins at home, that we need to start by looking at around us, at our own circle of believers within our own community, within our own city, within our own geographic locality, and then work out from there. But we need to ensure that our local community is taken care of, that we fulfill their rights and obligations which are upon us. And this, as the sixth Imam has shown to us, becomes the greatest act of worship that a believer could ever enact with Allah, with his Creator or her Creator. We hope and we try our best that we are able to fulfill this tradition of the sixth Imam, that we're able to fulfill the rights of a fellow believer, and that we are able to engage in the best act of worship, which is to fulfill the rights of one another. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.